doing, good people? This is the 8-Bit Animal. Okay, so today's game is an arcade port of a game that predates Super Mario Brothers by about 5 years. It's honestly one of the most iconic games in gaming history. Well, arguably one of the most iconic, next to maybe Donkey Kong and Space Invaders. Everybody knows this game. It comes with very little introduction needed, and there is an end to it, but you have to be willing to play for a very long time to find a kill screen. Oh, and one more little factoid, but I'll get to that later. Today's game is Pac-Man. Now, Pac-Man, what's interesting about Pac-Man is that it wasn't expected to be as big as it was. Namco never expected Pac-Man to blow up the way it did. But it did. It got popular. And so much so that it was ported everywhere. There was an incredibly lackluster port for the Atari 2600. There were ports for the TI-99 computer, for the ColecoVision, for all these different consoles. There were ports of Pac-Man everywhere. And none of them ever truly felt like they matched up with the arcade port, with the arcade version of the game. Well, Atari Games, as you know, the home arm of their operation was Tengen. Atari got the rights to distribute a home version of Pac-Man, much like they did with Tetris early on. Well, at some point, and they decided to publish this version for the NES without Nintendo's license. And honestly, I'm glad they did, because that was one of the games that led to Nintendo giving Tengen that license, or Tengen ending up with the Nintendo license. The Pac-Man, the Pac-Man port on the NES is pretty spot on for the arcade game, and there's really no introduction. Like, there's no need to explain what you do in Pac-Man. You run around a maze, you eat all of the dots in the maze, you get avoiding the ghost until you eat a power pellet, which is the larger dot. You eat the larger dot, the ghosts turn blue, you can eat the ghosts. Every now and then a piece of fruit or some other item will pop up in the middle of the maze. You eat that, you get bonus points. The first extra man is awarded at 10,000. I don't remember how many points you have to get any more extra men. And unless I'm mistaken, the arcade version had 256 mazes. There have been a few instances where people have gotten to the kill screen in Pac-Man. The first perfect game of Pac-Man where a gamer got to the end of the game and ate everything was, if I remember correctly, done by Billy Mitchell. Many folks will remember Billy Mitchell if they watched The King of Kong. He was the guy with the mullet and the American flag ties who was incredibly egotistical for whatever reason. I crammed to understand it. But anyway, Pac-Man on the NES is a solid port of the game. Honestly, it's not my favorite Pac-Man title. Pac-Mania, which was also published by Tengen, is my favorite Pac-Man title. I don't have Pac-Mania, which is why I didn't do Pac-Mania during the summer of 8-bit, but that's neither here nor there. But Pac-Man is one of those games that every gamer who calls himself a gamer should play at least once. There are ports of Pac-Man everywhere. There are ports of Pac-Man on all the modern consoles, and if you want something that's a little more challenging, I recommend getting Pac-Man Championship Edition DX on XBLA or PSN, because that game is pretty hard. It gets pretty hardcore later on. This has been the 8-Bit Animal, and I will catch you beautiful people tomorrow.